What's good, podcast fam? It's your host, Jason Craig, aka the friendly neighborhood dreadhead. I've been gone for a week and a half, I know, just been going through things, but we are back. And we're back not with a show, but with an interview. And I'm joined by comic book author himself, Mr. Anthony Stokes. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you for coming. You're gonna see I love to talk, but we're gonna try to get you out of here in 30 minutes. 'Cause I know we both had a long day.
We tired.
Man, yeah, tomorrow my birthday, so
Oh yeah, happy birthday. Happy early birthday.
appreciate you. I still might do a show just because I love this more than anything. But yeah, but so everybody knows I like to have guests on, either writers, actors, um, just anybody creative just like me, because I want to pick their brain for a good 30 minutes to see what they got going on, what and let them promote and what got them in the writing. So we're gonna do that with Mr. Anthony today. So Mr. Anthony, tell my lovely audience a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely, man. I mean, there's not really much. I just love storytelling. I started making this is year three of me making comics. Year three of my journey. I've successfully kickstarted 6 projects, 7 books, and yeah, man. I think career's trending upwards. I hope.
Okay. So my question to you is like all of us, we all catch that creative bug. When did you catch that creative bug?
Man, I think I was in second or third grade. I wanted to make a movie. My dad was a big it was a big I wouldn't say a cinephile, like he wasn't out here watching like Gone with the Wind or nothing, but he liked Denzel movies. He like, so um I I related to him a lot through movies, and I always wanted to make one. Failed miserably for about what, second grade, and I stopped trying. I really, for 20 years I tried to make a movie, couldn't get it done, and I during the pandemic I ended up, I worked like 50 to 60 hours a week
Whew.
for, oh my god, man, probably
Oof.
like 8, 9, 10 months, maybe even longer. um Definitely longer than that. Yeah, I was working 50 hours a week for like 2 years, and I took the money, made a comic book, and here we are.
Man, were you like copying my lifestyle, man? Because them pandemic years, boy, 50, 60 hour work weeks, that was just on the regular.
It was I was very fortunate to have a job that, like,
Yeah.
not only was there steady work, but you could work. There was nothing to do. I was like, man, I'm sort of going to office. Like, what I'm saying? I worked every day. I worked every day for, man, it must have been 9 months.
Okay. So, would you be so for yourself? Is comic book writing something you want to make full time as a career, or just something that you're doing as a passion?
It started off with me just thinking that becoming a full-time creator would just be so far off. It would just be so like out of this world. But the longer I do it and the more I'm putting into it, it is getting harder and harder to like do this and my day job.
Right.
So at this point, I'm like, within 5 years, I want to be a full-time comic creator. Whatever that entails, and I'm taking the right steps. Right, like I think a couple components. I would need a back catalog, so I can sell the back catalog. Residual
Right.
income. I need work for hire jobs with, preferably some equity on the back end, so I have income coming in.
Right.
Lots of work for hire jobs, and I'm able to make a profit on all my comic books, all my Kickstarters and all that stuff. So it's I also want to do content creation. I consider as well, like, doing YouTube, doing Twitch or whatever. Like, I'm not under the impression it's going to be easy. It's probably harder than I think it's going to. It's probably going to be easier than I think it's going to be. But I like that mentality, because then I'll be ready. Like, when I make that transition, I'll be ready to do this full time.
Right. Because yeah, like the way that just the creative sphere is not only do you have to write, but you also have to give yourself an image so people will can put a face to the name. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, 100%. I've actually gotten critiqued about that before, where it's like people were talking about you and not your comics. Like, yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, as
Very
long like
affecting.
I mean, it's just like I tell people all the time, like Stan Lee, perfect example. So Stan, everybody knows Stan Lee and his work, but that's also because Stan Lee spent years building up his image and doing appearances. Like even people that don't read comics know who
Yeah.
and who Stan Lee is and what he looks like. It's just
Yeah.
all about with the internet now. It's a whole lot easier for people to for you to put your face out there. It's just about making content when you're not writing that keeps the audience engaged.
No, exactly. And I mean, that's just the way that things are going, right? Like
Right.
you're selling yourself on your personality in your work. A lot of people do one or the other. Some people let the work speak for themselves. Some people the work is iffy, but they have a good personality that people like. And there's no wrong way to do it. Me personally, I would like both. I would like for my personality to sell, which is happening. It is
Right.
happening currently, and then also the work to speak for itself. And the benefit is that my comics are getting better, and my comics are about to get significantly better, like exponentially better, like especially when you consider where I was like a year ago. Like the comic books from now are going to be significantly better than those, and even the comic books I'm about to be making in a year are going to be incredibly like it's going to be better. It's going to keep getting better as well.
Right. So, and speaking of your comics, let's just go ahead and just go ahead and get into it. So, what are we? What do you want the show promoting today?
My comic books, Tap or Die.
All right. Let me see. If, you know what? So I can show the people. What's the Kickstarter? Put in the comment. Put in the private chat the Kickstarter link so I can put it up for the people.
If you search, I'm trying. I haven't used this platform, but
Hold on.
let
I
me
think
see.
it's. Hold on. Okay. You know what? Got it
If you
right here.
search Tap or Die comic, it'll come up.
Let me see. Tap or die comic.
Should come right
Yep.
up.
Kick. Yeah. Right here. All right. Let's go ahead and make sure that I am sharing the right screen. Tap or die. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Here we go. Tap or die wrestling. Tap or Die issue number one, a brutal wrestling comic. You already got my attention because I am a huge wrestling fan. So, tell people a little bit about it.
Absolutely. So essentially, it's about a guy that is a young, talented wrestler. He's been wanting to wrestle and be a professional wrestler his entire life. And he deals with he's being gay capped by the legacy wrestlers that are the old dudes that are still hanging around. And the league, the commissioner screws him over to protect his legacy wrestlers, and then he gets revenge essentially.
Okay. You want us to check out this trailer for it?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
All right. Well, y'all, here it is. Tap or Die issue number one trailer. All right. Well, it got me interested. Like I said, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I'm also a fan of the art style because it's kind of it's like the art style. It kind of pops, like
Yeah.
even with the black, even with like without the color, like with the black and white, it still pops. Which is for me, one thing about me, I'm an art nerd, and I just love different styles of art, and I love art like that can still pop even without color because uh, trying to make your art pop without color is kind of hard to do.
No, it's not easy for sure. I had to get a great artist, and also, I think well part of the problem sometimes the black and white art looks like it hasn't been colored yet.
Right.
but this was always drawn to be black and white. Like every
Right.
step of the process, this was black and white.
Right. So, what were some inspirations for you while making, like, coming up with this, coming up with this idea?
Well, it was my friend had told me about a comic book idea he had for like a wrestler's, like very bare bones. You know, he had the basic premise, and then I was dealing with a lot of the same stuff that the main character is dealing with as far as gatekeeping and stuff like that. So I really did a lot of oh my god, self insertion uh to really uh fully develop the story and give it a soul.
Right. Right. So, I'm guessing you are a wrestling fan, or it's just something that you just came up with.
No, I am a wrestling fan. But also this isn't exclusively for wrestling fans. This
Right.
is like a
Okay. Well, that's
bonus.
good.
Yeah,
That's good.
exactly. Like there's gonna be wrestlers that you recognize. There's gonna be elements of wrestling that you recognize. But this really could have been, in a lot of ways, this could have been any sport. It could have been basketball. It could have been. It's just about being in a workplace and being young, and people holding that against you. People weaponizing your age or lack of experience against you. If you can relate to that, then you can relate to Tap or Die.
Right, that's good. Well, I'd like to hear that because I feel like the best storytelling is when your stories yes, they're entertaining, yes, they're action packed, yes, but they also have meanings behind, just the storytelling elements, some of the dialogue. Like I tell people all the time, people get mad at me all the time. I tell people Demon Slayer, it's not as good of a story that people think it is. It's pretty, but it's not that good. It's not that good of a story. But I don't hold against it. But when you look at other things, when you look at other things, it can be fun, entertaining, but still have meanings. Like meanings behind, like the premise that you can walk away from. Like, oh, I can relate to this, or I can relate to that. And I like to hear when an artist or a writer, they say, like, they say that they put some of them into their stories. I feel like those are the best.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It seems that you well made your pledge.
Yeah, yeah. No, we had a great first day. I mean, it was the first 60 hours was the first time it's ever happened to me. Usually it takes 2 weeks. Like, so that was incredible.
Yeah, man. Well, I definitely can't wait to get. Oh wait, is it too late for me to pledge?
Nah, man, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm a pledge off camera because me I'm a if people know me, I'm a comic book whore.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure.
I got a I got a stack of comics that I just have over there just waiting to be read.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, man. I would appreciate that, bro. It's like what I want to really happen with this campaign, because it's a money sink. It really is.
Right,
I would love for this to pay for this book and then another book. Like that's
right,
really my goal. And if you can keep doing that, essentially you will you will eventually you're not even putting money into it anymore, right? Like it's
right.
all return on investment, and that's really what we're trying to get to. That's what I'm trying to get to personally, like where it's paying for itself at the very least. I don't got to put the money into it. That's the goal right now.
Right. So, my next question is like, what's your writing process? Break down your process when it comes to making an issue for a comic.
Okay, so absolutely. So generally, the first thing I think of is dialogue. Like I think of really good bits of dialogue. I think of like some witty, some back and forth. Um, and then once you think of the dialogue, you think of the context, and you get the scenes and stuff like that. And then I'm a very big outliner. I feel like my process has been, so essentially what I started to do, right? So I think a normal outline is just scene, right? Like scene one, scene two, scene three, scene
Right.
four. What I started to do, because I would have the dialogue first, I would outline the dialogue as well. So scene one, Domino steps into the ring, says, "Let's get this over with." Scene two, beats the guy up. Season three, part three sees the commissioner runs over. Like I would have those beats kind of like,
Right.
and then when you sit down to write, it's incredibly easy. You essentially already written it. So I have incredibly detailed, not maybe not detailed, but I have incredibly like thorough outlines. And that's something I started like probably 3 years ago. And once I started doing that, like I think like one problem, what I find and when I'm reading a lot of stuff is that the dialogue is just there to exist because
Right.
people should say things, right? So you're not writing dialogue that's contributing to, tone or story or character
It just
or
sounds
anything like
normal.
that. It's just two characters talking. And then so when you have the breakdown like that, you really cut that out because you already have the flow of the conversation as well. So you're gonna have a really quick, tight paced scene. And whenever I sit down and think of what a character would write, I'm like, what am I trying to convey? I think, like I said, it's like four things that that dialogue should communicate: either character, plot, theme, or tone. If it's not
Right.
doing one of those four things, it needs to be very brief or just cut out. Like that's also part of the process.
Right. Right. So, would you say that your outlining process it makes it harder or easier for your artist for you and your artist to be in sync?
I mean, I think the outline is so early. Like when you have your script, I think, I guess having a tight script would help the artist, right? If you know
Right.
exactly what you want. I mean, it can be a double edged sword because sometimes an artist, you're not gonna be able to get it 100% on the page, from the script. It's another human being. Sometimes a lot of times it's a language barrier too. So you're trying to get as close as possible. So I suppose it could be that could be a double edged sword. I have my beats that it needs to happen a certain way, but
Right.
generally speaking, I try to give the artist a certain amount of freedom because they're creative. I think it's better that way when you feel as if your input is going to be valued. You always want to value the artist's input because then they're going to be more forthcoming and they're going to give you more information. Like they're gonna have more questions or what have you when they feel like they're being heard.
Right. So, um, I'm looking at the character Domino. Was there any visual inspiration for his design?
Yeah, so the if you look at the campaign, his idol is Randy, and Randy to me is modeled a little. It's a bunch of different. It's Creed from the Rocky movies,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of Prime Time, uh, Deion Sanders.
Okay.
So he has an afro. He has like almost like more of a bush, and then so Domino grows up, he gets an afro, and then obviously he has dominoes on his pants, and Randy's name is Real Deal Randy, so he has film, he has literal film like that wraps around his. So they're very similar. Like he's modeled himself after Randy.
Right. Okay. That's honestly. Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That's great. Yeah, I see the Creed resemblance.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. Because I do feel like you have something there. Because for one thing I always look at when I'm looking for some new comic to read is just uniqueness, and I don't think I've ever seen a wrestling comic. Because I think you have a leg up there. Because I don't think I've ever seen a wrestling comic, and like you said, you wanted it to appeal just not to only wrestling fans, but non wrestling fans, which I think is also pretty dope. And you definitely got me sold on wanting to get myself a book.
absolutely. Hey man, appreciate your physical
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah, I might get it for physical. I like my shit physical. I
Okay,
like
okay.
digital and physical. I like to hold the book in my hand. I'm old school.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a great book. It's gonna be a great series, and there is Dual Power Bomb. Dual Power Bomb exists. I want to be fair. There are other good wrestling comics, right?
Yeah.
Like, and Dual Power Bomb, while it's great, Dual Power Bomb is like super colorful. It's mad. It's gorgeous. It's mad colorful. It's
Right.
mad. It's mad bombastic. It's very. I mean, you haven't read it, but essentially they're battling like aliens or something like that. They're battling like their first. battle is two orangutans, like a giant orang. So it's like very cartoonish. And then
Right.
what I think what's cool about this is that this is more gritty. I feel like this is more raw. And the black and white reflects that. So that's the beautiful thing is that you can exist in a space with other great pieces of work, and then yours is going to stand out on its own because you did something different.
Right. Well, you just introduced me to something totally new. I'd never even heard of a wrestling comic, so I guess I'll have to check the internet channels for that. Well, I was just about to ask you something. Okay, so like I said, we got 10 more minutes. They want to hold you long, so we're gonna get to the fun questions. I'm gonna give you, I give everybody the Mount Rushmore, depending on how the conversation is going. So you said you're a wrestling fan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do you think you could give me your Mount Rushmore for pro wrestlers?
Mount Rushmore. I mean, like Stone Cold is definitely up there. Like
Okay.
he's got the bravado. Like he like that just he's such a jerk. He's so iconic. I'm gonna say The Rock because I've seen him a lot of others. I'm a big movie person,
Right.
so I'm gonna see him both, and I really like his screen presence in and out the ring. I'm also, but by that same logic, I'm gonna go with the Batista, who I think is like an even better actor for
I agree.
sure. And then
I
like
agree.
Hulk Hogan, man, his whole he's crazy iconic. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
got the mustache, he's got like the brother, like he's a man.
Yeah, we just don't talk about current Hulk Hogan and his views.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's legit. That's legit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, the wrestler. Yeah, you're not gonna find. There's some troubling personalities, but
Oh man, Trip, I messed up and I clicked on a YouTube video of 5 dark wrestling secrets that you do not know, and I would just feel like
mistake.
I feel like I need to take a shower after just watching that hour long video. Felt
Yeah.
dirty just like knowing some of this stuff, but okay, now this is we manifest this, we speaking this to existence. What is your big time goal that you're aiming for, like you're striving for?
My lifetime goal is I really want an Oscar. Like that's really what I want. Now I have a match. I'm not one of these guys that's like in comics just to make movies,
Right.
but I would like to make a movie. Like my my comic goals is I just want to make a couple things. One, I want an image book. Like image book would be crazy. Like
Right.
just the clout that comes from that'd be amazing. Two is an Eisner, like more clout, more validation. And then really I just want to make something that's considered a great American comic book.
Right.
Just something that you put up against Watchmen.
Right.
Something crazy, crazy iconic, something up there with Sandman. Um, you know, like that's what any of those three things I'm happy. And the good news is that it can be all three, right? Like there's no
Right.
reason you can, we can kill three birds with one stone, hopefully, finger crossed. And because that's what I want. I want validation, I want recognition, I want people to know that I'm good at this.
Right. Well, here today at July 6th, 2023, 8:33 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are manifesting this in your future. You will get that Eisner. You will get that Oscar. We're going to get Tap or Die. We're gonna give it the big screen adaptation. Now, if we give it the big screen adaptation, who's gonna play Domino? Who do you want to play Domino?
Man, the obvious choice I think would be like Michael B. Jordan.
Okay, okay.
But
I
I
can
mean,
see
he
it.
already does Creed, so it's like it's a
I mean, he
lot.
can do. I mean, he can do Tap and Dot too.
He can
Just
do both. I'm like I got to see how things play out, but I think Jonathan Majors, acting
what?
wise, I don't know what's going on exactly, but
Yeah, we waiting to see what Jonathan
four
Majors
months
right now.
ago. Jonathan Majors, no easy, like
Yeah,
like clears, you know. So we got to see that. And I thought about this Tessa Thompson or Zazie Beetz would be good too for Iris, you know.
you know what? I'm looking at Iris right now. I'd be cool with either one of those two.
I don't think it's bad. We just remake Creed, right? Maybe cast
Yeah,
Michael B. Jordan and then
yeah.
cast.
Now my only thing is, I love both those brothers. I gotta imagine them with that big ass afro on their head.
That is that is a thing. Nah, that is, you know, it wouldn't be bad though. Maybe who's the dude that played Max Johnson in Winning Time or Shirt?
I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
Winning
about.
Time.
Yeah, that
He could be good.
yeah.
He
Now,
he wouldn't be
obviously,
bad. Yeah, you
the
know, he got the afro.
oh yeah, yeah, he got the afro. But yeah, man. Well, you know what, we manifesting that, so it's gonna happen. And when it happens, I want to have you back on so we can just tell the world that we told you so, that this was gonna happen. But yeah, man. Like I said, I didn't want to hold you for too long. I wish we could talk longer, but you tired. I'm tired. Man, but before we go, let the people know where they can find you, and I will put it in the comments.
At Stokes the Rider on Twitter. That's the best place to find me at.
To add Stokes, the writer, he said on Twitter.
At Twitter. Yep, that's the best place.
All right, on Twitter is where you can find my man Tony Stokes. All right, and before we go, do you have any words of encouragement for inspiring writers and artists out there?
Man, keep it up, man. Like have a plan and execute. You know, like just the beautiful thing about content creation right now is, I mean, this is how I feel personally. If you make a good product and you get in front of the right people, you'll find success. You know, so
Okay,
just do
all right. Well, words of encouragement from future Oscar winner Anthony Stokes.
that.
Um, but yeah, y'all, that does it for another episode. Like I said, there's gonna be a review show this weekend. Probably gonna play catch up and talk about that Dial of Destiny since I missed y'all with Indiana Jones 5, and we'll be talking about Insidious, the red door, something door. I know it's Insidious. Insidious 4, I think. Is it 4? I think it's 4. We're gonna say it's 4. I think. New Insidious, just know that.
Yeah, yeah, one of those.
But you know where to find me, guys. Go to our TikTok, our Facebook, our Instagram, I almost said MySpace. I'm tired. Um, T Public Store. We got merchandise. I saw that somebody bought Bring the Popcorn and Bring the Controller shirt. So we selling. Go ahead and get that store, get that merch. We gonna put new logos and designs in the near future. Look out for that. And like my man said, you can find him at Stokes the Writer on Twitter. And yeah, y'all, we out. Just
Peace.
just remember when you come to these interviews, just remember to always bring the popcorn. All right, guys, we up out of here.
Peace.